Thank you for listening to Pow Block Podcast, the flagship Nintendo podcast of Boss Rush Network. Do you need even more gaming and entertainment in your life? Head over to bossrush.net where you can find news, reviews, creators, podcasts, and more focused around the content you enjoy.
Hello everybody, welcome back to Nintendo Pow Block, the Nintendo podcast here on the Boss Rush Network. I am your substitute host, Corey Deering, and alongside me, no Eddie V this week, but we do have the indie insider himself, Dan Murphy.
How's it going, guys?
Also back, very excited to announce the gallivanting Galutrad himself, Jacob Taylor.
What's going on, everybody?
Yes, Jacob, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here, Corey.
Not that I'm not happy that Dan's here, but
I'm not happy that
He's
Dan's
just
here.
used to me.
yeah, I haven't seen you in a while. It brings me joy hearing your voice, seeing your beautiful mane of hair. That's why I wear a hat, because I don't have any. So
Yeah. No, yeah, man. I've been busy moving, so.
no, you've been busy playing Ring Fit Adventure.
That too.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah.
That as well.
Yeah. How's everybody's weekend? Everybody have a good weekend? Everybody chilling, doing adult things? I don't know.
Yeah, I went to Ocean City. It's like a little beach town in Maryland.
Ooh.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
our neighbors have a condo there and just let us use it for the weekend. So
Oh,
What?
yeah,
What
yeah,
great neighbor.
I know, it was great. We had such a good time. Just hanging out at the beach and going to these beach bars and yeah, it was great.
doing the things. Nice. Yeah, we're actually talking about going there for vacation this summer. So
Oh, really?
yeah. Man, this
Nice. If you drive there, you'll probably drive right through my town.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, well. If we drive there, maybe I'll just say, "Hey, Dan, you want some lunch? You want to be bothered by some children?" And you'll be like,
Yeah.
"No, kids, I'm out."
Stop by. We'll throw them in the yard.
There you go.
It's fenced in. We won't lose him.
The dog will look after them.
Yeah, the dog can look after him. He's very mature.
Jacob, how have you been? It's been a while. It's been a minute.
It has been a while. I'm good. My weekend was filled with errands on Saturday, and then on Sunday, I woke up, worked out. I had plans, those got canceled. Woke up, worked out, went back to sleep, and then woke up in the evening, worked out again, and then went back to sleep.
Man, you're gonna be
my
like
Sunday was I'm gonna be shredded.
yeah.
My Sunday was very, very lazy, which was nice because it's been kind of a hectic couple of weeks. So
Yeah.
had like a whirlwind packing adventure to pack up my entire house. It's very weird seeing your entire life like in 15 to 20 boxes.
Yeah. It's weird. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Moving is not fun.
It's not, man.
Yeah, we're getting ready to start looking for houses. We want to move within the next year and a half, so it's coming up. It's coming up.
Start looking, man. Start looking now because the housing market's crazy right now.
I know. It's annoying. It's not fun.
Nope.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, my weekend was okay. My daughter's first soccer game was this weekend, so that was fun. You know, a bunch of 3 and 4 year olds running around, running into each other, and
I saw that on Instagram. I think that is fun. Did anybody sit down in the middle of the game and start playing with the dirt?
no, but my daughter, she scored a goal and she ran over and gave me and my wife a hug and said, "I did it," and then we sent her back out. So it was fun. But it's kind of nice because it's like they're like teaching them how to play properly. Like the first 45 minutes is like a practice, and then the last 15 minutes they kind of, quote unquote, play a game. So,
yes, yeah.
But it was fun, and She was kind of nervous at first, but then like when she realized, oh, I get to kick this ball and play with kids and run around, and the shirt though, the shirt that they gave her is too big, and she did not like it. Every like 5 minutes or so, when can I take the shirt off? And we said, not yet, not yet. And dude, seriously, as soon as it was over, she was like ripping it off. So we got to figure that out.
Not
but
a fan.
Other than that, she liked it. And then my nephew's birthday was also this weekend, and we ate a bunch of pizza and chicken and JoJo's, and it was a good time.
Nice.
Oh, so okay, well, I guess we'll get into this with Snacktendo because I have a question.
Snacktendo!
I have a question for you guys, but we gotta read our Patreon producers first because I did not record them because this is my 12th podcast episode in 8 days, so I haven't had time to record them. So,
I don't think I've done 12 podcasts in 2022.
What week is this?
I know. Don't worry, guys. I have tomorrow night off. LeRon decided that he could give me a night off on Crossroads, so yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, excellent.
So you can support Nintendo Power Block and the Boss Rush Network on Patreon, patreon.com/Boss Rush Network. For $1, you get the Boss Rush podcast and expansion pass for 1 week early, and you get standard definition and After Dark 2 weeks early for just $1. But if you subscribe at the $5 producer tier, you get shouted out across our family of podcasts. So right now, this is our current roster of Patreon producers for the month of April. We have Quentin Jackson, Rebecca Jewell, Adriel Munger, and my wife, Sana Dierig. So two Boss Rush partners on this.
Yeah. Rebecca Jewell's my bun.
Yeah. Dan,
my
come
bunny.
on. Where's yours at? Here.
Yeah.
Dan.
Oh, yeah. All right. I'll have her sign up.
It's a requirement to be on.
It'll be my wedding gift to her.
All jokes aside, I want to thank our Patreon producers. It helps out a lot. Remember, all of our content is free. It's going to remain free for everybody. Just the Patreon supporters get a few little bonus perks and a couple things early. So I want to thank you guys, though, for seriously supporting the show. We really appreciate it. And tell your friends. All right. I guess it is time for Snacktendo. Did I do it right? It wasn't. There was not enough energy in that Snacktendo.
No,
it's fine.
Never have enough energy without Ed.
Yeah. So Jacob, I've been instructed to have you go last.
Yeah, because I have thoughts on things that happened last week.
From Papa.
I was brave enough to try.
Papa Eddie says, "Go last." So Dan, we're going to start with you then.
All right. I don't really have a snack, but I kind of have a funny thing about me when it comes to food. So I didn't think this was weird at all, but we were out to dinner with like 7 or 8 friends the other day. And it came up that I actually can't smell or taste garlic. And it kind of blew everybody's mind. Like they thought it was like the craziest thing. And I didn't know I was missing out on something so much, but hey, that's just me.
Wow.
That's nuts, dude.
I can't smell it at all. Like Ariel could eat it like an apple and I wouldn't even know.
What?
Oh, but she wouldn't enjoy. Okay. Like I thought you were saying that she just like, that's just something that she does. Cause you're not supposed to.
I'm just saying she could, and I would like never smell it on her breath or like
that's crazy.
Yeah. If she's cooking it up or anything in the kitchen, like I have no idea.
Wow.
I pity you a little bit. Garlic smells so good.
Oh my gosh, dude! On Friday night, like how it went this weekend. Like my nephew's birthday was Saturday, but on Friday night he got a birthday dinner, and he loves Olive Garden for some reason. So they ordered like a ton of salad and breadsticks, and there was probably like 30 breadsticks. I'm like, how like. Not that I like love Olive Garden or anything, but like their breadsticks are so good, and you're just like missing out on a tasty treat there, Dan.
I know. That's just bread to him.
Yeah, to me it's just bread and butter. Like when I eat garlic bread, and I kind of love it. It's just toasted bread and butter.
I mean, yeah, toasted bread and butter is definitely good, but
it's up there. But man, garlic.
That's so great.
Yeah, and it's funny. I make according to everybody else, like very good garlic bread when I make it.
Probably because you can't smell it, so you don't know you're using too much, and that's what everybody loves about garlic bread is they put too much garlic on it.
It's when it's just like soaked in garlic.
Yeah. Oh man, that's
rough, man.
Man, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'll never know any difference, so I don't mind.
So for me, like I said earlier, we had pizza and chicken and JoJo's for my nephew's birthday, and I gotta tell you, a good, big, crispy JoJo is just delicious. But
so what is a JoJo?
Okay, this is what I was gonna ask. Do you guys know what JoJo's are? Because apparently, where I'm from, food's called weird things, and it's totally different from the rest of the United States, like chocolate cream sticks, right? Like,
yeah, that's an eclair, my dude. A long john.
It's not a long john, but
that's just so a JoJo is basically like a really big potato wedge. And Stephanie posted in the chat, breaking news. What is this?
What the hell is a JoJo? Can we get back to this?
Wait, hold on.
Yeah, let's get back to the JoJo.
That's not. Nobody cares about the Mario movie.
Oh. Well, it looks like the global release of Mario.
We will be talking about this in news. Though.
Yeah, we'll talk about it in news.
All right,
we'll talk about it. Anyways, what we're talking about? Oh, JoJo is like a big kind of crispy potato wedge, like the size of a potato. Not like the ones you get at KFC, like a potato wedge, but they're just like big, crispy potatoes that are like, first they fry them, and then they bake them, and then you smother them in like ketchup or something. It's so good, man. JoJo's are so good. And
isn't that just like a potato skin?
No, it's different than a potato skin because potato skins are like hollowed out. These ones are not. They're just like they're it's literally just a giant potato wedge, but not like a processed one that you would see in like KFC, I guess.
You call them JoJo's.
Yeah. It's
like a potato wedge.
No, it's a thing you get it's a thing you get with fried chicken around here. You just say I want chicken and JoJo's, and that's what you get. And usually you get it with pizza. Man,
I've never even like really heard of this.
What?
Yeah, I haven't. This is like the people who call sprinkles Jimmy's.
What? Who does that?
That's a New Englander thing. I do that.
Hold on. No, I gotta. You guys are breaking my heart here with these JoJo's.
This is JoJo's Bizarre Adventures. That's what this is.
First, Dan can't taste garlic. Now I gotta explain what a JoJo is. Okay, here's what. JoJo's are traditionally a potato cut into 8 segments, breaded like chicken, and cooked in a pressure fryer. So it's got chicken breading on it, I guess. I didn't know that.
It's a fried potato.
Yes, with chicken breading on it.
There's a place near where I live called Spud Ranch. They serve like delicacy potatoes. Like macaroni and cheese baked potato and like pulled pork chicken baked potato, like just crazy, just weird things, anything you can think of. I think they even have like a Reese's baked potato. I'm gonna have to tell them about JoJo's. Be like, y'all need to look this up and see if you can offer this.
Okay, so I just looked it up. So they're called as for the potatoes became known as JoJo's, it's rumored that the name derived from the idea of junk because parts of the potato were considered scraps until entrepreneurs realized they could pressure fry and turn them into crispy, delicious gold. They are only called JoJo's in Idaho, Oregon, Minnesota, northern Utah, northeast Ohio, which is where I live, Wisconsin, and upstate New York. So I guess
okay.
I I love my favorite thing about this, and then I guess we'll move on to me, is that somebody was like, oh man, what can we do with all this food that we're throwing away? You know what? Fry it.
Yeah.
Like that'll work.
It's like the
That'll
horse
make
slop
it
for
better.
humans.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Man, JoJo's are so good though. So yeah, that was my delicious, tasty food. Jacob, let's hear your hot take on this.
So apparently last week Ed was attacked for saying that French fries with cheese sauce and ketchup was an unacceptable, or what was delicious, right? Is this what I've come to understand?
Not on the show, on his Twitter.
On his Twitter. Okay,
Yes.
Excellent. So I, being the brave soul that I am, decided that, you know what, Ed? You've got typically good snack advice. I'm going to go try this. And so I went and got myself some French fries covered in cheese sauce, and I covered that in ketchup. And I got to say, Ed's on to something.
Oh no.
It was really
no.
really good.
Oh,
No, yeah. It was like the ketchup bit through the cheesiness in such a way that just really like spoke to my soul and my stomach. And then I added, after like eating half of my little basket of French fries, cheese and ketchup, I added some like barbecued roast beef to that mixture as well. And oh my gosh, dude, it was delicious. It was so good. So now I am here to defend Ed on any of his snack takes. If he's got something that sounds disgusting, I'm going to give it a shot, because the man knows what he's talking about when it comes to snackage.
So it is a thing around here, mostly at like baseball games.
But I wouldn't have ever thought that, because like the idea of putting ketchup on melted cheese, which by the way, I despise cheese sticks, like mozzarella sticks. They are the most
I love
disgusting
mozzarella
things.
Dan, you can't get the full flavor. You can't taste the garlic.
There's garlic in mozzarella sticks?
Yes, there is.
Oh, I had no idea.
It's in the frying batter. But like they're disgusting. So I didn't think I would like this because it's melted cheese, but I like nachos, so that should work. But yeah, no, it was really, really good.
Wow.
Wow.
Just a couple of shout outs in the chat. It looks like Ristray and Mad Pharmacist, they call their sprinkles Jimmy's as well. Mad Pharmacist also really wants some potato skins at the moment. Coconut says what Jacob had sounds like it wouldn't go together, but cheese and ketchup work on a burger, so why not fries? I bet if I tried it, I'd like it. So, yeah, and then Coconut also says that Gal is objectively wrong for mozzarella sticks. So,
but he still stands me. So
yeah, but we're really gonna focus on the thing he said of you being objectively wrong and hammer that one home.
My community tore into me when they found out that I didn't like mozzarella. Like it became like a community challenge to get me to eat one on stream. So
I just don't understand how you could dislike him. Everything's glorious about him.
No, it's so the gooiness of it, and like
that's
there's
the best part.
Texture. It's so gross.
What do you mean
it's
no
like
texture?
eating
You got to get yourself a crispy mozzarella stick.
The cheese, like by the time you chew, all the crispiness gets absorbed by the gooey cheese.
You're not eating it fast enough.
Yeah, what are you doing? Just letting it sit in your mouth?
Yeah.
It's so
Oh, let this cheese melt on my tongue.
I was sucking on it like
maybe you just don't know how to eat
lollipop.
So
maybe I don't. Maybe
no wonder why you agree with that. You guys' snack takes are horrible.
Let me tell you about the cheese sticks at Sheetz, Jacob. Okay. Sheetz, the gas station.
The gas
chain.
station?
Yeah.
I'm not eating gas station.
No, let me tell you about these things. You order some cheese sticks from there, you get their boom boom sauce, and you smother it in boom boom sauce. Oh my gosh, so good.
Chewies, not Sheetz.
So good. So good.
Unbelievable.
It's so good, man. You're just you're not living the life.
I guess not, man. I guess not. I'll have to if we ever have a chance to meet up, you'll have to try and teach me how to eat a cheese stick, but I promise you I'll vomit.
I will. I'm gonna shove it down your face. Speaking of shoving it down your face, we're gonna say, "Hey, you, what's new?" Jacob, this is your segment this week.
Yeah. So, thank you as always to the wonderful Dan, who puts together a What's New Nintendo every single week for part of BossRush.net. Check us out. Just wanted to highlight a couple things that seemed interesting to me. On Wednesday, April 27th, there's a game called, I hope I say this correctly, Tasomachi Behind the Twilight. It's a little indie adventure game that lets you freely explore the beautiful world designed in said game by Airship. I checked it out. It looks really cute. It looks like it's very anime-ish. And it looks like it'd be kind of relaxing, but maybe like there's some sort of darker thing going on based off of what little I saw in the trailer. And also on Wednesday, this one is a big win if you haven't ever played it before. Excuse me. The Stanley Parable Ultra Deluxe. This also appears to be Dan's choice as well, I believe.
Oh yeah,
something that you're interested in. You will play as Stanley, and you will not play as Stanley. You will make a choice, and you will have your choices taken from you. The game will end, and the game will never end. Contradiction follows contradiction. The rules of how games should work are broken, then broken again. You are not here to win. The Stanley Parable is a game that plays you. So I highly recommend, if you are into puzzle games or just anything with like a little bit of a creepy vibe, definitely check Stanley Parable out. It's coming out on Wednesday, like I said, for $24.99. And then, of course, we've got on Friday, April 29th, we have Nintendo Switch Sports. Classic Nintendo sports game, kind of following in the Wii Sports footsteps. It's going to come out with soccer, volleyball, bowling, tennis, badminton, and chambara, which is swordplay using the Joy-Con controllers. Digitally, it's going to be $39.99, and physically, it's going to be $49.99. Do we know why the $10 physical increase?
It comes with the leg strap for the soccer game that's coming out as DLC.
Okay. So if you've already got Ring Fit Adventure, you don't need to buy physical, because you don't need that extra leg strap. Although maybe you do if you're playing soccer. Maybe you need 2 leg straps, one for each.
What if somebody's playing with you?
They can just duct tape it to the leg. That's fine. Nintendo Switch Sports, that one was super cool. I played I personally played the demo, or the 3-day network test beta thing. Yeah, that they had. Chambara is tough, man. Like, you really got to be on top of things. But I'm extra excited for Battle Royale bowling. That
was so much fun. Like, I couldn't get enough of that bowling. Holy crap.
Absolutely. But yeah, so those are just a couple of the what's new games coming out this week that we're excited about.
Yeah, the Stanley Parable looks really, really good. I hadn't heard of it, and like a couple of people, shout out to Lore Together in our Discord, Safi and Mystic, like absolutely raved about it. So I looked into it and I was like, that's a day one for me. There's a crossword one on there. I do crosswords all the time, so I might get that. But yeah, that one with the airship, that one looked really cool too. I think I'm gonna pick that up because you kind of like build the airship as you go through the whole thing. So I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. No, yeah, that looks super cool. And then also one other game that I forgot about, but also on Friday, Nonogram Minimal. I know Dan is a big fan of Picross. I'm also a big fan of Picross. Mm-hmm. And that one is like Picross Light. So if you wanted to get your dip your toes into the Picross water, check out Nonogram Minimal.
Please do. Picross is the best.
It is. It's super relaxing too.
Nice. Right. I mean, for me, it's Nintendo Switch Sports. I mean, but also, I have a weird obsession with like Super Monkey Ball and Marble Madness. So Marble Maid might be one that I check out.
So I looked into that one, and it was really hard to see the ball around the maid. Like,
Oh, is it?
It's a little. I mean, the idea is there, right? But like, it did look kind of cute and charming. It's only $10, so if it's something you're interested in, I'd say pick it up.
Yeah.
Why not?
I mean, I'll watch
But
the
yeah,
trailer. I'll watch the trailer first and see, but
I will say it's not made like what you're thinking, right? Like it's a cute little anime made. Like it's not like French made.
oh yeah, well, yeah,
So,
Of course,
I mean,
it's gonna be the horny anime maid.
I mean that's the 30 other games that came out on Switch this week. God, every time I open the eShop, I feel like there's one of those games just we're on sale.
Oh, dude, all the time.
Ugh.
Yeah, Ed picked them all up too.
Ed, I'm thinking Stephanie picked them all up. She did buy a Switch game at at PAX this week. That I'm sure we'll talk about on the Boss Rush podcast or after dark. So
Yeah, man.
oh man.
Yeah, so that's what's new. Back to you, Corey.
Thanks, Jacob. I appreciate you and your voice and your delivery. Speaking of delivery,
I appreciate you.
we're gonna
It's
deliver
DiGiorno.
you some
Not sponsored.
not sponsored. We're gonna deliver you the question block, everybody. Look for our tweet at Powblock Podcast about asking for your questions. We'll usually leave the docked mode topic there as well, just in case you want to ask a question about docked mode. But also, we want to read your questions. So we actually got a lot of questions this week. So if we don't get to yours this week, we're going to save them for next week. So just to make sure we kind of get everybody in. But yeah, I can't believe how many questions we got this week. It was awesome. I love seeing questions flow in. So keep giving them to us. We'll try to answer them as soon as possible. Our first question, though, guys, comes from Daniel Mickgar from Turn by Turn Podcast. It's a great RPG podcast. You guys should check it out. He says, if you could fuse any two IP together, which ones would you choose? I think a Hyrule Crossing could be pretty cool. Jacob, I'm going to go your way first. You look like you're ready to answer this question.
Yeah, I am. So he didn't specify that it had to be Nintendo IPs, so I'm gonna branch out a little bit. I would love to have, so ever since Nintendo announced their mobile gaming stepping into the mobile space, I have wanted a Clash of Clans meets Legend of Zelda game. I've wanted to build up a little Hyrule base and have other people come and attack, and me go and attack other people with like Zelda and Link and Ganon heroes and like little Hyrule soldiers and moblins and stuff. Like, I think that would be such a good style of gameplay for the mobile space, is Zelda IP over the Clash of Clans engine. So that's where I would go. Clash of Hyrule.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
does
it
sound
does,
really cool.
doesn't it? Like, I would drop some money on that, because I just, plus, like, I don't know if you all have played Clash of Clans or anyone listening has played it, but like the art style is really cute. It's very like not clay animated, but just kind of like chibi animated, and everyone's like very silly. And so I think it'd be fun to see Zelda in that style.
Yeah. Cool. Dan, what about you?
I would like to see Pokemon crossed with like an MMORPG. I think it would be so cool to just like have Pokemon like just free roaming, like checking out everything, like building up your character in certain ways. I think that would be awesome and finally get me to play a Pokemon game.
Let me tell you about a DS game, Dan, that you might like. So I know that you're into tactical RPGs as well. Have you checked out Pokemon Conquest?
No, I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's basically Fire Emblem meets Pokemon, and it takes place
Really?
it takes place in like ancient times, and like you collect Pokemon and they're your party members, and it's just a tactical RPG, a really hard tactical RPG for DS.
What?
Dan,
That's
I'm going to
crazy.
give you a heads up right now. This game is really hard to find now. unfortunately. But yes, if you can find it, Corey is right. Like this would be this. If any game were ever to get you into the like mad into the Pokemon series for you, this would be the one.
Yeah.
Can you download DS games on the 3DS?
No.
It
might be available on the Wii U eShop. I'm unsure.
I don't have a Wii U though.
Oh, damn.
Hold on.
I also can you play like a physical DS game on a 3DS?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So if I found that, it's pretty easy. Maybe I'll check this out.
Sure.
Cart only is $90 on eBay. So.
Oh really? This one's saying 40.
Where are you seeing that?
I just typed it into Google and then hit shopping.
Oh well, if it's only 40, you should get it.
I'm seeing 64. But either way, it's like, I guess you'd have to. That looks like it's on like a website. Bonanza. Has anyone ever shopped at Bonanza?
This one is complete inbox for $90. The first picture is just the cartridge.
Yeah, Bonanza's the one I saw it on. Anyway, I'll look into that.
Yeah, man.
That sounds awesome.
It's a very very cool Pokemon game.
Yeah, it was really cool. I mean, for me, man, I kind of want a Fire Emblem RPG, like a real RPG, like a Xenoblade style RPG. I know I know that's like a really boring answer, but I think that could be cool. But also, like, I'm not a big Souls guy, but I think there are two franchises that Nintendo could do that with, and I think one is Zelda, and one is Kid Icarus.
Okay, that's fine. Yes, yeah, I agree with you.
But
I've been touting that need forever.
I know, but I've just really been thinking about it since I saw this question earlier today, and I was like, man, I still think like a Zelda Souls game would be something people would kill for.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
Especially with the popularity of Elden Ring right now.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Just call it Elden Bridge.
Nice.
Yes. Subtitle is falling down. From the chat, Restray says Pokemon Crossing. I know there's a lot of fan art of different Pokemon styles as Animal Crossing villagers, so that would be super
really
good.
Fun.
And then Mad Pharmacist says Star Fox mixed with Metroid Prime.
Funny you say that.
Person.
That game was actually rumored for the Wii U, and then it got canceled because the Wii U was the Wii U.
Mm.
Oh, and Grayson says a Smash Brothers JRPG.
Ooh.
How would that work?
Like a Mario
just
Mario
all
RPG.
of the characters in a like a what's the anime trope where like everyone gets sucked into the world and it's like a game world? So it'd be like that. All of the Nintendo characters and all the characters from Smash Brothers get sucked into like a single world.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that would be cool. It'd be like you could almost do it in like the Mario, like Super Mario RPG for Super Nintendo. That kind of like art style almost. That'd be super cool.
And you'd probably have to take a like Octopath Traveler-esque style where you could like choose up to 8 people in your party, but then the story changes based off of what 8 Smash Brothers fighters you took.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'd take that. All right.
First person Star Fox sounds amazing. Like walking around, adventuring, shooting.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool.
It does sound cool. Plus imagine like the space Star Fox missions but you are flying Samus's ship too. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our next question comes from Celeste Roberts, our dear friend. Hope you're doing well, Celeste. She says, it's your birthday. What cake are you choosing?
Cookie cake.
Cookie cake. Yes.
That's my favorite type of cake.
Yes. Cookie cake. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm all in on a cookie cake.
Oh, yeah.
German chocolate cake. It's the best kind of cake. Come on.
It is really good. It's a little too. Have you ever had chocolate sheet cake? or also
Yeah.
sometimes called Dr. Pepper cake.
Dr. Pepper cake.
Dr. Pepper cake?
Yes, yeah.
Dr.
No.
Pepper cake.
No, okay. So chocolate sheet cake is very good, but no, it wouldn't compare to a German chocolate cake though. But that's your cake of choice, huh?
Yeah, German chocolate cake all the way. Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm surprised. I wonder what Ed's cake would be.
Dude,
We have to
Probably
make sure to
something
ask
with
him
like
that.
ketchup and mustard on it.
Okay. I will give it a shot, Ed. If you can bring that, I will try it.
It's probably got flaming hot Doritos and Mountain Dew in it too. Wasn't he the one that sent the picture of that? Who sent the picture of that to the group chat?
I think Jack did.
No, Jack did.
Yeah, and Ed was like, "Oh yeah, I've had it. Doesn't have much flavor."
the Mountain Dew Flamin' Hot.
Oh,
So
man, that just sounds bad. Sorry. Sounds
yeah,
terrible.
no need for that to exist.
Yeah.
Ooh,
All right, our last question comes from at John Despa on Twitter. He asks, "What are you looking forward to the most in Xenoblade Chronicles 3?" Smiley face. Dan, I'm definitely going your way first because this is the Dan question.
Everything, and it just looks awesome. When I'm looking forward to the battle system, especially. So, like, one Twitter user pointed this out. Like, again, like, just people are overanalyzing the little amount of info we got on the trailer, but so Xenoblade Chronicles in the world of like Bionis and Mechonis clashes with the world of All Rest from Xenoblade 2, and it seems like that's going to be kind of the main focus of Xenoblade 3. Now, there's characters that seem like they're from the first world and characters that seem like they're from the second world. So during like the battle scenes, it has like their arts in the bottom left and the bottom right, and it has like the same logos from like Xenoblade 1 for certain characters and the same logos from Xenoblade 2 on the other arts. So like it's going to be just really cool to see like what they're going to bring back from each game and how this battle system really is going to work out. Because if you play a Xenoblade game, you know the music's going to be good. You know the exploration is going to be just incredible. Monolith Soft somehow just like makes these games look beautiful. So we don't have to really like harp on that, but like the battle system is what I'm really, really looking forward to. And I have no idea how they're going to do it, but it looks like they're just going to take the best parts of both games and smash it all together.
Great. That's what I'm looking forward to the most. Because I'm playing through Xenoblade 1 right now, and I know, Jacob, you said you started your Xenoblade Trek, and it's just
I'm going to be starting it, yeah.
Yeah, there's like a lot of things that like it has a lot of charm and a lot of heart, but you can definitely see that this game is kind of like, over a decade old at this point. And Xenoblade 2 does a really good job of kind of not simplifying the battle system, but making it easier to understand and kind of, I think Xenoblade 2 overall is probably the better game. But seeing these two worlds collide and seeing them come to, oh man, I can't wait. It's going to be cool.
Yeah.
So Xenoblade's battle system, because I bought Xenoblade Chronicles when it released on the new 3DS.
Mm-hmm.
And then just never, like, I think I played maybe like an hour of it and was like, I can't play this game in a handheld, like on a tiny screen like this. I need a bigger screen. But the battle system reminds me a lot of like playing a melee character in an MMO where you have your auto attacks, but then like you have skills that you can use outside of that, which is it feels really fluid and fun. But like Corey mentioned, I haven't actually played Xenoblade a whole lot, and so I'm excited to be starting my Xenoblade journey. So unfortunately, I'm probably not going to be picking up Xenoblade Chronicles 3 day one, because I want to give both of the games, or I guess all three of the games, because of Torna, the time that they deserve before I step into 3. But I am kind of hoping, without knowing anything on the story, I'm kind of hoping that there's a way to do like a Spider-Man whatever the most recent Spider-Man was, where they like bring in all the different people. Like it'd be cool to see Shulk come in and like, or maybe even like an older version of characters come in.
Well, that's what I'm
like,
kind of
so
wondering
cute.
about, because you watch these trailers and like there's a character that like is Nia from Xenoblade 2, like looks like her, has the same weapons. This is a bit of a spoiler for Xenoblade 2, but it has her like flesh eater core, like same exact thing, but she's a different character in this. So, and then like, you know, in the first trailer, you heard Shulk's voice, you heard Rex's voice, you know what I mean? So like there has to be some sort of tie that you're saying, like where they may bring back these characters and one facet of another or another. So it's like, it's going to be super interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. I'm so excited.
And then, so I didn't actually know this was a real thing, but I saw Stealth tweet about it. Apparently one of the weapon types is origami.
In the new game?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Okay. Yeah, he like I guess they tweeted out a picture of like all the different weapon types and characters holding them, and one of them just looks like this guy has like origami birds fluttering around him, and that was like those were like his weapons.
Huh. Interesting. I didn't know that either, I guess.
Well, it seems very cool. And I always like funny things like that. Like I like when games have like little silly moments.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, that's all the questions we have for today. Remember, if we didn't get to you, we'll try to answer your questions next week. We'll leave them on the dock. We'll get them in there. Thank you for writing in. We really appreciate all the fan questions recently. It's been really fun to get those in the show. But now,
don't. Sorry, I want to interrupt real quick. Don't feel like you have to wait for us to ask for your questions. If you have a questions, tweet at us at Palblock a podcast, and we'll be happy to add it to our docket of questions for the show.
Yeah. Like Galutrad said. That's why he's here, guys. He makes all the smart decisions.
No.
But right now, it's time for Family News.
Family News.
Dan, take it away.
All right. Well, the first story was talking about Xenoblade 3.
Naturally.
So we're talking about Xenoblade 3 today because earlier last week we brought the date up on a special announcement to July 29th. It was originally scheduled for September 22 release date. And then in the wake of this, Nintendo went ahead and tweeted that Splatoon 3 is coming out in September. So it seems like these two kind of swapped places. Do you guys have any interesting thoughts on this or anything?
I'm very happy for the people that love Xenoblade. I'm very sad for Splatoon fans because Splatoon is absolutely a summer game, and even though it's a summer game. It's so colorful and fun and filled with water, and it's squids and kids, and it's summer. And now it's in the fall. I don't care what people are saying, like, oh, well, the astrological calendar says that it's still technically in the summer. No, it's not. It's in the fall.
I agree with Jacob. I feel like Splatoon was definitely supposed to come out in the summer, and it's not now. And now I'm fearful a little bit. Not that fearful because Splatoon's a huge hit, and I think that hardcore Nintendo fans especially are going to buy this game and play the crap out of it. But like,
oh yeah,
September usually starts the competitive kind of multiplayer season with Call of Duty and Halo and a new season of Destiny and, you know, probably some sort of weird Battlefield spinoff thing that nobody's going to play. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot of games coming out, and this was a conversation I had with Ed last week where about Bayonetta, but still kind of making the same point where, like, I feel like this game would have done way better in the summer, or wait until, you know, a time where all these games aren't coming out, because you're going to have Jedi Fallen Order 2, you're going to have Hogwarts Legacy, you're going to have God of War, Redfall, Starfield. Like, there's so many big AAA games, Gotham Knights, and I just hope that this game does not get lost. Even though I think it's coming out early enough because it's coming out before a lot of these games, but I really hope that this game does not get lost in the shuffle, because I think Splatoon 3 looks adorable and fun, and like a lot of people are going to kind of eat it up.
Well, if the 300,000 people that liked the Japan account update, that was literally just, hey, it's coming out this date, which was actually later than what they originally said, then I'm sure it won't get lost in the fold.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
That's insane to me. 300,000 likes, not even for an announcement, just for a, hey, it's coming out this date.
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like more Splatoon, though. I mean, like, it to me, it's like indistinguishable from Splatoon 1 or 2. But I'm sure hardcore Splatoon fans will know things.
I've never played Splatoon. I did see that they were putting the Splatoon 2 DLC on the Nintendo Switch Online.
Yeah, that expansion pass just keeps getting value, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty nice.
And sorry, just to kind of interrupt you a little bit, Dan. I always hear that Splatoon's campaigns are the sequels to Super Mario Sunshine everybody wants. So that's incentive for people to play.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Huh. That's cool.
The Octo expansion DLC for Splatoon 2 also, I've heard, was like insanely good campaign story. Like, not deserving to be in a Splatoon game, in a game about kids inking turf. So that's interesting.
Right. Cool. You guys got any last thoughts on that?
Nope.
All right. Well, at 9 p.m. Eastern time tonight, Nintendo of America blasted out this tweet. This is Miyamoto. After consulting with Chris San, my partner at Illumination on Super Mario Bros. Film, we decided to move the global release to spring 2023, April 28th in Japan and April 7th in North America. My deepest apologies, but I promise it'll be well worth the wait. Interesting.
I kind of wonder if they did this just because they didn't want to compete with Sonic.
Maybe.
I feel like it was that far out anyway.
Yeah, but you still have I know award shows probably don't matter to Nintendo a whole lot, but it is like their first foray back into the movie, industry. So I feel like they probably want to have all eyes on them and not have anyone be like, oh man, remember that Sonic movie from earlier in the year? That was so much better. I don't know. The Mario movie is something that I'm excited to see because it's going to be an event. It's going to be an experience. I have no decisions on whether or not it's going to be good or bad. I'm just going to see it because it's going to be there to see.
Yeah.
So if I have to wait a little longer for that,
Yeah. I mean, I think I don't know. I feel like these movies also do better in the springtime. I mean, you saw Detective Pikachu do pretty well in the spring. Sonic has obviously done well 2 springs in a row, right? And this fall is going to be Marvel all over the place. I think isn't there some sort of Avatar movie supposedly coming out this fall? It's going to be blockbuster season this Christmas, and I think they kind of want to stay away from that aspect of it, and kind of be free and clear of this stuff. Plus, it's Nintendo. They like to delay things until it's right, especially something like Mario being in a movie. I feel like they want it to be perfect because they, again, I think everybody just thinks of the bad Zelda cartoons and the Mario movie, right, from the 90s. And
yep.
They don't want that mistake to happen again. And yeah, I don't know. That's my thought on it. I think it'll do better in the spring too, honestly. I just feel like it will do better there.
Yeah, I'm actually looking forward to it. I can't wait to see this movie.
I'm really interested in the cast
The
in
voice
particular.
acting.
Yeah, because I mean we've known Mario for 25 years to sound like Charles Martinet, right? And like Donkey Kong doesn't really talk, and Toad sounds a specific way, and you're gonna hear Charlie Day as Luigi and Chris Pratt as Mario, and
The Charlie Day as Luigi, I think that's like the weirdest one out of all of them.
I think if you look at this cast as a whole and you point to them, I think him and Donkey Kong are the ones that make the most sense. Like
Oh, really?
yeah.
I feel like Donkey Kong and Bowser are the two that made the most sense. I just don't see like Luigi having that high pitched Charlie Day voice.
Yeah, I wonder if Luigi's going to be like this high-strung, anxiety-ridden character, right? Like,
Absolutely. Why wouldn't he?
I just, man, Luigi's going to be so out there, and Donkey Kong's going to be out there selling bananas. I don't know. Do you think so? The other rumor is like this is going to have an end movie stinger of a Donkey Kong spin-off movie.
I mean,
yeah, I've seen that rumor.
Yeah,
sure.
I mean, is this the start of the Smash Brothers cinematic universe? Is this where it starts, or did that start with Sonic?
No, no. I feel like that's a pipe dream. Ha ha ha, pun intended. Of people being excited for this Mario movie. I don't think we're ever going to get like a Smash Bros cinematic movie, that a Nintendo cinematic universe. It's just not. I don't think it's going to happen. The NCU is never coming around. So yeah, I don't know. I just can't. I can't believe in that. It's not coming. I just don't see it. I'm being a naysayer, but it is what it is. I did want to kind of bring this up because I actually thought about it before it was mentioned in the chat, but do you feel like Nintendo delays major projects more than other gaming companies and organizations? Coconut brought that up in the chat because like Metroid Prime 4 got delayed, and this is getting delayed, and Advanced Wars for numerous reasons and numerous times got delayed. I still don't believe that game's coming out until it's actually in my hands. So like, do y'all feel like Nintendo is more willing to delay stuff than some other companies? Or, I know there's that, I think, I'm pretty sure it's like misquoted in some way, but that famous thing that always gets shared everywhere about how Miyamoto said like a game that gets released, a bad game that gets released is bad forever, and a delayed game is eventually good.
Yeah.
Right.
I have an opinion on this, but like, so during the Wii U, right? Mm-hmm. They, towards the end of that console, they were like pushing stuff out, like obviously making sure it was polished, but like things were missing modes. Like I think Mario Tennis Ultra Smash was the big one, where that movie was, or that game was straight up missing. Like all it was like, oh, you and your friends are playing tennis. That's all it was. There was no campaign. There was no like online multiplayer. There was nothing. And they were putting stuff out like that in the Mario Party 10, and just some of these other games that were just pure. I don't know. They weren't bad games, really, but they were just like there was not a lot of meat on the bones. You know what I mean? And so I think they learned from that. Plus, like Switch being a huge success, they're making so much money on the Switch that I feel like they feel more comfortable delaying stuff now because they can afford to. Not that they couldn't before, but they can actually like, oh, okay, well, we have a couple ports left. We could port those to fill space. We can, put some stuff out on NSO. We can, partner with third parties to do certain things, and we can delay our big games like Mario and Zelda, and even take a hit on something like Advance Wars because of, the war that's happening. That was their, excuse or whatever. Right. And so I think Nintendo isn't afraid to delay things because I think they have so much output now that they're focusing on one console as well instead of the handheld and a console that they can delay it and still have something within 6 weeks, right? So
yeah,
that's my thought.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of been this way, right? Like I feel like they've always never been shy about delaying games. Because it's like, I look at a game like Final Fantasy 15, and that game came out kind of like crap, right? Like I remember chapter 13 being just this awful hallway where you actually didn't do anything for 3 hours, and then they kind of just like threw in a huge plot twist at the end, like nonchalantly, and like so much of that last part of the game they actually just like patched up and made it better because they were just kind of pushing it out to hit this release date, and it came out like a crappy game, and I never returned to it, but people have said it's actually like a better game now that they kind of fixed it all. And like you never get that with a Nintendo game. Like that shouldn't ever happen with Final Fantasy, but like I've never played a Zelda game and been like, oh, wow, this is crap or rushed or anything like that, because Nintendo focuses so much on their gameplay, and I think they do respect their gamers when it comes to these things, and they want their gamers to enjoy the experience. Like, why else make the game, right? So, yeah, I think Nintendo just has more of a respect in that sense. All right, well, that's it for the news. We can
that's it for
kick
the
it back
news.
to you. Yeah.
Oh man, small news week.
It's a small news week.
It's fine because we got a good docked mode this week. So our docked mode this week, Switch has been the best-selling console again for the month of March. So my question to you and our elite block agents out there: why, in its 6th year on the market, does Nintendo Switch continue to sell? The popularity of the hybrid continues to grow, even though its lifespan has surpassed every other Nintendo home console ever released. Why is that?
Because I don't think there's an experience quite like it. I know that the Steam Deck is often touted as like the Switch killer, but even that, other than like illegal methods, you don't get Nintendo games on there, and the Switch is just kind of so easy, kind of like the Wii. It's very easy to explain to people. Like you hold the system in front of them and they're like, oh, so it's a handheld, and you're like, oh no, it's also a TV, and you just like, it just slides so simply into the dock, and then boom, it's on the TV. There's not like, you don't have to disconnect or set up anything. You literally just dock it, and it's now on the TV, and you can play with all your friends. And I think that along with the fact that they do release, have a steady stream of first party and indie, and now even third party. They've gotten much heavier into the third party aspect of things, that I think that it just makes sense to gamers, and more importantly, it makes sense to casual gamers. Your little Jimmy's mom, it doesn't want to go out and hunt down an Xbox Series X or a PS5, but the Nintendo Switch is readily available and cheaper, and he can play it when they're watching games on the TV, but still play the same games that he plays on the TV. Like that, it just makes sense. It's just a system that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Dan?
I think I mean, you kind of nailed it with the casual gamers. So like from personal experience, I know a lot of people that don't really game that actually picked up a Switch.
Same.
And most of them are like my age. They're parents and like have these weird little downtimes now, like 15, 20 minutes. And they like, they bought a Switch for these moments, and there's a lot of nostalgia going around in the Switch, and like a lot of IPs people recognize, right? So it's like people my age played Nintendo 25 years ago and they recognize Zelda, they recognize Smash Brothers, they know Super Mario Brothers, right? So it's like they're playing these games, and then to really hammer home the casual gaming experience, we have Animal Crossing, we have Tetris 99, and all of it is just easy to pick up and play, and it's portable. Like, the reason I have a Switch is because I travel so much for work, and if I wasn't able to travel with this thing, I wouldn't buy a Switch. Like, I barely touch my PlayStation at home. So I think it sells to the casual gamer and even the hardcore Nintendo gamer at the same time. And like you said too, Jacob, like, it's getting third party exposure, and it's just a fun gaming system. There's so much you could say about it,
Mm-hmm.
What about you, Corey?
Yeah, go ahead.
So I mean, the thing is like, to me, the Switch still feels like a new system, even though it came out over 5 years ago. For some reason, it still feels like I think it's because the idea is so refreshing, right? Is like, oh, I can plug it into my TV, or I can take it with me, right? I don't have to have 35 different devices to do things, right? And so I think that the Switch is it has the IP that I love. I've always loved Nintendo, and I always love the idea that Nintendo has always been trying to connect their handhelds to their home console in some way. Even like we used to talk about the Wii U a lot, where like it's the inverse of the Switch. It tried to do the Switch before the Switch, and it didn't work that way, so they reversed it, right? And so I've always loved that, and I also think what really helps the Switch is that I said it earlier, Nintendo is focused on one console, one device, instead of 2 or 3 now, right? And so I think having a new, fresh game every 4 to 6 weeks is really enticing to people, because you look at Xbox this year especially, right? They haven't had a first-party game come out. You look at PlayStation.
Really?
Yeah. You look at PlayStation, they have 3 scheduled for this year, and 2 of them are already out. Now, granted, E3 or Summer Game Fest or whatever is happening this summer in terms of game announcements hasn't happened yet, but, I mean, Nintendo has given us almost their entire slate for the rest of the year. Plus they have support from third parties, right? We're getting Marvel Midnight Suns, we're getting Mario Rabbids, we're getting Hogwarts Legacy. Like, we're getting all these pretty decently sized third party games, and having that support along with a huge array of indies, like, that was one of the best things about the Vita, was like the Vita was the indie machine, right? And everybody who loved indie games had a Vita, because that was the best place to play them. You love playing them in handheld. They're, perfect bite-sized experiences to take on the go, right? And so that transition to Switch was so natural for that audience, plus the hardcore Nintendo audience, plus the casual gamer, drawing them in with, even now with NSO and, like Dan said, franchises that like Mario and Zelda and some Metroid or whatever. But like, I told the story before, but my brother-in-law bought a Switch because they put Bomberman and Street Fighter on it. He's not a gamer, but those are games he remembered when he was little.
Yeah.
And that was a big deal for him. And then obviously, he ended up getting Zelda and enjoyed what he played, and Mario, and has the online service, and the rest is history. But like, I also know people that are around my age who bought a Switch when the pandemic started, and they bought Mario Kart and Animal Crossing, and those are literally the only 2 games that they play.
Yeah.
Like, so my brother bought a Switch for Zelda, and then he continues to buy games for his kids, and then he recently bought Dark Souls because it's on the Switch, and he was told by one of his best friends that, hey, you need to play Dark Souls, and he has a Switch, so he can play it on the Switch. Like, that's the type of third-party stuff that I was talking about, and that y'all both reiterated. And I also think something kind of interesting happened. Gaming used to talk about the generation of gaming a lot. Like you had the GameCube, Xbox, and PS2 era, and then you had the Xbox 360, PS3, and Wii era, and you had like gaming used to be a generational thing, and I think a lot of people still have that in their mind. And I think the fact that the Switch came out right in the middle of the end of one generation and the start of a next, but it came out early enough that that next generation hadn't started yet, that I think that that lends itself to feeling more like a new console, because you think, okay, well, what are the new consoles for this generation? Well, there's the Xbox Series X, there's the PlayStation 5, and there's the Nintendo Switch, because of how the timelines worked out in that regard.
Right. Yeah. And to that point, it's like you said, the Switch came out early enough to where it wouldn't be overshadowed by the next release of the consoles, right? Because that's what happened to the Dreamcast, right? Is it came out 10 months before the PlayStation 2, and everybody's like, "Wow, Dreamcast looks cool, but I only have enough money for one console, and the PlayStation 2 can play DVDs." It has it might have better online functionality someday. Like it's got the franchises we love, like Metal Gear and whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that was the promise, Final Fantasy. And I love the Dreamcast. But like aside from like 10 or 12 games, like the PlayStation 2 had a million more games to jump on, right? And so plus the promise of like the DVD player was like a huge deal.
The DVD thing was the biggest hit, because you could buy a PS2 for cheaper than a DVD player.
Yeah, and I remember that was my first foray into DVDs. I think I bought The Matrix, I bought Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and I think I bought Indiana Jones at the time. Like that was a big deal. I was so excited to watch DVDs on my PlayStation.
Yeah.
And granted, I didn't really care for PlayStation 2 much after that, except for Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts and a few other things. And I was playing more GameCube than anything at the point. But yeah, I mean, the PlayStation 2 was just dominant. And so I think this, getting back to the Switch release, like it happened. It was coming off the Wii U, which was quote unquote a failure, and the 3DS was still churning, but like Nintendo had this cool idea, wasn't overshadowed by another release, had the promise of Breath of the Wild, which, you know, all intents and purposes was the launch game for the console. Huge launch game where the Wii U only had New Super Mario Bros. U, which we had already had 3 of them at that point. And I just think it was like a perfect storm, and Nintendo had already kind of laid out their year at that point, because we had already seen Splatoon, ARMS,
Mario Odyssey,
and then E3 rolled around. We saw Rabbids, Xenoblade. So they had a huge year that year, and then the rest is history, right? And then we started seeing third parties jump on board. The fact that that November they announced Doom and Wolfenstein was like a huge deal. Like that was so big. And like, granted, it's not the greatest way to play those games, but they're totally serviceable, right?
Yeah, and if that's the only way that you have to play the game, then you have the option to play the game. Where in the past it was, I guess I just don't get to play that game.
Yeah,
you know, like that's a big win for them. And yeah, it's interesting that the 1 month, I believe, that they haven't been the bestseller was the month before the OLED.
Yeah. And to that point with like third parties, I think we're starting to like see a little bit of, man, the Switch is just not powerful enough to hold these things. And so like we saw the cloud versions of Kingdom Hearts, that was a big kick in the face.
Don't.
But like I think the Switch is going to be an iterative console for the foreseeable future, right? I think the next Switch is going to be more powerful. And that can be a conversation for a different day. But, like,
yeah,
I totally see this console being a 10 or 12 year console
Yeah, it's going to be like the iPhone, where they just keep coming out with like the same thing, but just like a little bit better on this aspect and a little bit better on this aspect. Like
I think at this point, the only thing that we're all in agreement on is that it needs to be called the Super Nintendo Switch.
Yeah. Nope, the Switch U.
No.
The new Super Mario Switch U, bros.
And Knuckles.
But I think that I don't think Nintendo can go back from this model, right? Like, I think it would be really silly of them to say, hey, we're going to go back to a set-top box console and a separate handheld. And, you know, I mean, they can make little things on the side. Like, if they want to experiment with a handheld-only type thing, you know, like a Game Boy Classic, maybe, Nintendo, you know, just going to throw that out there.
Never coming.
But I think the Switch is such a hit, and it's such a great idea, and it merges what they're best at is great first-party output, a strong handheld that you can plug into your TV, right? And that's what's so special about this thing. You know, it just does everything that they've wanted to do for a long time, except it's not scattered in 3 or 4 different areas. It's all in one concise package. So, yeah.
Yep.
Anybody else have anything to chat about on this subject before we?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys where you think it's gonna finish as in sales, because right now the Switch is in 5th place with 103.54 million units sold. And 4th is PlayStation 4 with 116. 3rd place is Game Boy and Game Boy Color, 118, which, I mean, it's definitely going to pass those two. But then the top two is what they call the Nintendo DS family, 154.02 million, and PlayStation 2 is number 1 with 155 million. So right now, 5 years into it, we're at 103 million.
So I completely believe, number one, if they pull a DS and they call it the Switch family and they do like an iPhone style upgrade for the Switch, it will pass the PlayStation. I think that's unfair. I think that it needs to be seen as its own console, and then whatever the Switch 2, whatever the sequel to it, needs to be seen as its own console. But I think it'll become the new 2nd place. I think that it'll pass. I think it'll get just shy of the 155 million.
So do you think like it's fair to call the 3 iterations right now all the Switch?
So that, because maybe I'm thinking incorrectly here. I think the DS family includes the 3DS.
It does not.
It doesn't?
No,
I think it does.
It's the DS, the DS Lite, the DSi, and the DSi XL.
Okay, so then if that's the case, then I take back. Then I would consider the Switch, Switch Lite, and Switch OLED all the same thing, because the PlayStation 2 had iterations as well.
Oh,
it had like the PS2 Slim and the
3DS family is another section in here, and that's 75 million. Wow.
Okay, yeah. See, I thought they were taking the DS and the 3DS, anything with DS in it, as one system, and I thought that was ridiculously unfair, because those are totally different systems. Like I know you can play DS games on the 3DS, but you can't play 3DS games on the DS, and that's where the problem lies.
Right.
So I think as long as you can play, yes, I think the Switch, Switch Lite, and Switch OLED all count as the Switch family. If they release an upgraded Switch 2, a sequel to the Switch, then that should not be counted as the family. But I think that they will hit 2nd place.
Okay, so the top 2 are PlayStation 2 at 155, and 2nd is DS family at 154.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it'll just pass. I don't think it'll knock out PlayStation 2, but I think it'll just pass, like by like hundreds, maybe thousands. But yeah.
Well, the funny thing about the PS2 is that it had such a long tail after, because in South America and Africa and countries like that, that console didn't even release until after the PS3 was out. And so like you can find copies of MLB The Show for PS2 all the way up to like 2012 or 13 or something. Like, it's crazy.
Yeah. GameStop,
Really?
when I started working at GameStop during the Xbox 360 and PS3, like the beginning of that era, we were selling PS2 games for a long time.
Yeah.
Huh.
And yeah, and so like when that kind of dips, you started seeing it in Europe and North America and Japan. You started seeing it go back up when it was released, and so
Yeah.
like FIFA was a huge deal and MLB was a big deal, and I think that's why the PS2 continued to sell, and so I actually think the Switch. I don't think it's going to pass PS2. But I would not be surprised if it did sell, if it did pass the PS2, because I think this lifespan is going to continue longer than 5 or 6 years.
I think it won't pass the PS2 because I think that Nintendo will release the I want to say sequel, but that's not correct. Predecessor? Is that correct?
The successor.
Successor. I think Nintendo will release the successor before the Switch has the opportunity to pass the PS2. And I think that tail will get us to just below the PS2.
Mm-hmm.
The thing is, it's just like, it's not slowing down. Like,
No.
the Nintendo Switch sales are just not slowing down. And I think it also helps that, like, you can get a Switch Lite for $200 if, like,
Oh yeah.
you know, your kid drops one in the toilet. Like, it's easy to just rebuy them. And people have multiple of them. I have 2 Switches.
I have 3.
No, I'm sure there are plenty of families that bought one and then they were like just tired of their kids fighting over it, so then they bought a Switch Lite. And like they're like, all right, we're just gonna solve this problem. Second Switch, there you go.
Right.
Yeah. I'm at this point where my daughter is starting to become interested in, like, what is that? Is that your Switch? Is that your Xbox? And like, she'll grab a controller and want to play. So I've actually loaded a bunch of games onto my Switch Lite to see how she kind of reacts. Like easy ones like Kirby Star Allies and Yoshi's Crafted World and New Super Mario Brothers, right? Like I've loaded them onto my Switch Lite to see, you know, if I sit down with her and kind of show her. I'm not going to show her anything with like a right stick, right? Like a almost 4-year-old's not going to understand that the right stick. I kind of want to show her the easy stuff first, but like, and then if she gets more interested, whatever, we'll figure it out.
Put her on Elden Ring and then let that be the start of her.
Yeah, you know, I thought about it, but you know, I
imagine what sort of gaming god she would become if she was like, yeah, my first game was Elden Ring.
But she loves Mario. Like she loves watching me play Super Mario 3D World, and she knows who all the characters are. Like she knows who Toad and Yoshi and all these characters are, and she loves trying to play Mario Kart. I always turn it on the simple like you go mode.
Yes, yeah, and unable to fall off the ledge and stuff.
And she loves it. She loves it, and it's exciting to see my kids get old enough to play games. And I think that's actually where the Switch is going to find its longevity. Like, you know, like you guys said, where people are tired of their kids playing their Switches, so they're going to go buy another one for their kids. Or, you know, if you have 2 or 3 kids, I mean, you know, it's going to add up pretty. She did ask for her own. I'm like, ooh, let's. Why don't you try mine first? You know, and we'll figure it out. But yeah, it's cute though when she does try.
Any other final thoughts?
I mean, I don't really. I think the Switch is just I always say the Wii U is my favorite Nintendo console. That's, you know, a legacy console, I guess you would say. But I think the Switch is going to go down as like the best thing Nintendo's ever made. You know, I think I just, you know, I don't really have.
It's my favorite console by far.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I have never played a console this much in my life. Mm-hmm. Not even close.
Yeah. And I mean, oh yeah, I forgot they put MLB The Show out on it this year.
Yep.
I totally forgot.
I've been playing a lot of that.
Yeah. Well, why don't we get into that? Why don't we get into playing with power?
Yeah,
I'm
there
sorry.
you
I'm
go.
not Ed, guys. You're just gonna have to get over it. You know what, Dan? I'm gonna start with you. What are you playing?
I did the Tetris 99 Maximus Cup and got the Kirby theme this
Ooh.
weekend. The Kirby theme is probably one of my favorite ones so far. It's really fun, and when you knock out rows and stuff, it has like that sound when Kirby sucks something in and then hits an enemy with it. Like it has
awesome.
that. Yeah, it has that noise when they do that. So that was really fun. It's funny because like when I play like Tetris 99 on just a regular day, like I'm always placing top 3, but then when the Maximus Cup comes, I'm just getting like demolished. So that was fun. I'm still playing Chrono Cross. I'm pretty close to the end. Probably do a couple of new game pluses there. And then I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show. It's kind of funny this year because so I used to play the show competitively in like 2015 and 2016, and like I have a group of friends that like continued to play it like competitively since then. And this is the first game, I guess, that so you can time up your swing and they tell you if it's good, great, or perfect. And if you time up your swing to hit a ball perfectly, this is the first game where you can actually just hit it straight at a defender and get out, which is like sending the competitive community into like an absolute fit, which I actually like it because in this, if you don't like baseball, you're just gonna have to ignore me for a second, but so it's really cool because like in recent years a lot of baseball games they play the shift on guys that pull the ball to one side or the other, so you're actually aiming to hit the ball in different directions, which is like a really different strategy that the show hasn't seen before. So it's been really interesting, like kind of playing it in a different way where you're actually strategically trying to place a ball in the field at different spots. So I've been getting like really, really good on it. And I really love playing all the single player modes on the Switch, where I can like build my team and do all the stuff I don't have to do online. I have played online on the Switch and it works extremely well, but I think I prefer to play it on my TV on PlayStation if I'm playing online with like friends or kind of in a competitive mood. So I have the bigger screen with me, because when I play it docked on Switch, there is a little bit of input lag, and you can't have that in a game that's just straight up all about timing. And then I've been playing Elden Ring and dying. So there's that. What about you, Jacob?
Yeah, so I have recently been working on completing a bunch of indie games that I started and then never actually got around to finishing, mostly due to like getting stuck on a boss or things like that. So I've completed Creature in the Well, amazing little indie pinball style game that has like a little bit of a, not roguelike, but like just a little bit of wandering, adventuring around. The story was really compelling. It's kind of hidden behind reading data logs and things like that, but super, super fun game. I also have been working towards beating Dandara. I completed the story mode, like the main story campaign in Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate, which isn't an indie game, but I felt like playing an older Monster Hunter game, so I picked up my 2DS and started playing that. And by the way, I got a like a grip for my 2DS.
I saw that.
Oh my goodness, it makes a world of difference. Like
Does
before,
it?
I could only I could only play it for like an hour at a time because my hands would start cramping, and now I like on the weekends when I was playing Monster Hunter, I would be like start it and like 6 hours would pass, and I'd be like, oh gosh, like I'm not even aware that I could play this little system for that long.
Wow.
So that was a lot of fun. And then, like we mentioned earlier in the show, I'm going to be starting my Xenoblade Chronicles journey. I was able to get Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition on the Switch, so I'm very excited to start that and hopefully be done with that close to when close after Xenoblade Chronicles 3 comes out, but we'll see. So excited to report on that. Corey, what about yourself?
Nice. So I'm slowly making my way through Super Mario 3D World 100%. I have just completed the first area of Champions Road. So what is that? Star World or something, I think is what it is.
Yeah.
And man, that game, if you're trying to 100% that game is just ridiculous when you get to Champions Road. It's
so difficult.
Yeah.
Easily the most difficult Mario level.
Yeah. Yeah, and I beat it, but I didn't 100% it because I'm like, who's gonna try to do this? This is ridiculous. And now I'm trying to do it, and I was like, okay, this is gonna be my secondary game. It's time to move on. I need to play something else. But after the first like 2 or 3 levels, I was sucked back in. Like I was like, I gotta do this. I just gotta do it. I gotta power through it. And I'm using a wiki. I don't care what you guys say. I want to find everything. Especially on these harder levels, I want to go in knowing where this stuff is because I want to just do the right kind of platforming and have the right suits to get it instead of like, oh, well, you need the boomerang suit here because, it's out in the middle of nowhere and you're not going to long jump out there and kill yourself, are you? Which I have done a few times, especially to get. There's this one level where it's like top down, and all you can see is Mario running around, and there's platforms running by you with piranha plants shooting fireballs at you. Some of the platforms are lava, some of them are ice, and the stamp was the last thing that I needed. And I didn't have the boomerang suit because I was too bad at it. Even though there's 2 boomerang suits in the level, I lost them both. So I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to long jump out there and get that stamp. And then I died. And then I collected enough coins to get my life back. I'm like, worth it. Worth it. So,
yeah. Dude, I have a fun little story about that, and specifically about the difficulty. I did the 24-hour live stream for that game, and me and a friend played through pretty much the entire thing. I thought I was going to get to the Bowser's Fury thing, garbage add-on that they added to Super Mario 3D World, the greatest Mario game. We got to the very last level of Star Road and spent 6 hours on it.
What?
Like we were, and mind you, this is after 18 hours of playing this game.
Right.
But like it got to the point where we were so frustrated that we had to get up and go outside and get like some fresh air.
Wow.
Because we were like, this is so difficult.
Wow. That's intense. 6 hours.
So if you need help, I'll help you out. I've done the 100%. I love that game.
Oh, it's so good. It's the best Mario game. I'm really scared to try Bowser's Fury because from everything I hear, it's like everything I hate about 3D Mario games. But it's okay.
I didn't think it was as bad as Jacob thought.
I think it's terrible. I think everyone is blinded by how pretty it looks.
It's Mario. It's fun. I love 3D Mario.
But the mechanics in it are just so weird.
I'm gonna play it. I just don't know if I'll play it, if that makes sense.
That's fair.
Because Super Mario 3D World, when you go to another Mario game that's not perfection, how are you supposed to continue? You know?
I know.
Anyways, I've also been playing Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition. That game is a delight. I like the characters. I think there are too many dumb side quests that I keep getting sucked into, which are just, super fun. And so my in-game time, I checked, is almost 8 hours. But I just completed the first kind of main story mission because there are so many side quests.
And you kind of like have to do the side quests at the beginning to like really kind of get through the levels. I don't know.
It was like
can't go in a Tefra cave under leveled.
Right. Can't do it. Can't do it.
Excited.
but it's super fun, and yeah, it just makes me more excited for 3. Although now I gotta like power through 1 and 2 because it's coming out 3 months earlier than I thought. It's fine.
Do you have 300 available hours to play both those games?
Dude, I barely have 3 available hours to play this game. But yeah, I'm gonna try to at least finish 1 and then play a little bit of 2 before 3 comes out. But it's gonna be a struggle, but I'm gonna do it. Other than that, I've been playing a lot of Destiny 2. My friends and I have been grinding the dungeons for powerful gear and prepping for next season with a new dungeon is coming next season, so we're excited for that. And then I've returned to Outriders because there's a DLC coming, and I want to finish the main campaign of Outriders before that DLC comes out. I know I'm one of not very many who thinks that game is great, but I think Outriders is definitely, if I could go back and change my game of the year from last year, I would probably switch it to Outriders.
Wow.
That game is, because I originally picked Halo and it was really close with Outriders, but like I think it's because like Outriders came out in April and Halo came out right when we were trying to like do game of the year, and I wrote the review and I kind of rushed through it and everything, and I was all hopped up on Master Chief juice, so but Outriders is awesome, and if you like third person action games or shooters like I think the closest comparison would be Gears of War, but more arcadey and superpowers. And it's just a joy to play. And it's so stupid and over the top and dumb. The story is super dumb. Your character's just like you'll just have to play it and find out. So it's on Game Pass for anybody who cares. So also it's on sale this week for $15 if anybody wants to own it. So, but that's all I've been playing. Before we go, guys, we do have a video game to give away.
We do.
Ooh.
We do. And so, we are giving away a digital code for Nintendo Switch Sports out this Friday. And Jacob, I believe you have the randomizer ready.
I do. I want to give full clarity. I drew it. I had it draw the very first time, and the first person that it picked was Boss Rush Network.
Great. Everybody at Boss Rush gets a free code. Yay. No, I'm just kidding.
Yay.
I'm
No.
kidding.
Our winner of our digital copy.
Before you wait, hold on.
Switch-
Before you announce the winner, I want to clarify this. Can we buy foreign codes, I guess would be the best way to say it. We can buy those, right?
You'd have to work a little bit of it around, yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I really hope.
But
anyways, continue. Sorry, I killed your hype.
I think it's safe to say that no, it's okay. I think it's safe to say that we are a North American based media outlet for now, and so that's the type of code that we're offering. If we did not make that explained well enough, we apologize, and we will do that on our next giveaway. However, our winner for the Switch Sports code is Scotty Blipsy.
Whoa!
Scotty.
Yeah, Scotty.
Bips. So congratulations, Scotty. We will be reaching out to you and getting you your digital code for Switch Sports.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Scotty. You are our winner.
Yeah.
So, thank you everybody who entered. We will be announcing our next giveaway soon. So if you did not win this time, don't fret. We will be doing these all year. So,
Yay.
Yay. I want to thank everybody for watching and or listening to this episode of Nintendo Power Block. Ed should be back next week. He's working the inventory shift at his job, so those are not fun. 9 p.m. to 5 a.m. So he was not able to make it tonight, but he will be back as your regularly scheduled host, as well as the rest of us here. Remember, if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us some 5-star reviews and ratings. If you're watching on YouTube, subscribe. If you're a patron, thank you for supporting us. You can head on over to patreon.com/Boss Network if you feel obliged to support us. You get 4 shows early for just $1. We really appreciate it. Dan, where can we find you?
You can find me on Twitter at DCDM99, and you can see all of our great articles on www.bossrush.net, where I'm a copy editor.
Focused around the content you enjoy.
Jacob, where can we find you?
You can find me everywhere on the internet at Galutrad. That's Galutrad.
Nice. You can find me at IamCoreyNHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me hosting the Boss Rush podcast. You can find me on Standard Definition, the Retro Nostalgia podcast. Please go check out our Marvel in Review series, our Indiana Jones series, which just wrapped its final episode, and our Disney animation series. If you are a Nintendo fan, we have started the ranking Nintendo consoles portion of that show, so check that out. And you can find all of our content on bossrush.net. You can find all of our video content on youtube.com/BossRushNetwork. I want to thank everybody so much for watching and or listening. And until next time, we love you. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Wahoo! Ed does that right.